Welcome back, everyone. Today we are going to have another best of one from the LiquidZenio replay pack that was just recently released on Teamliquid, and brought to you by Razer. Cannot forget their sponsor shoutouts. But yeah, we're gonna head right into the game here and get it started for some excited Wings of Liberty StarCraft 2 action. So in the top right, we are going to have spawning on Entombed Valley as our red Protoss player. It is going to be the infamous Barcode. And in the bottom right, the grade player from Teamliquid that this replay pack is all about. LiquidZenio as our blue Zerg player. This is typically a map that favors Protoss, as it is fairly easy to wall off here and here. Destroy these rocks, go up to 3 bases pretty quick, turtle like a boss, and sort of just push out and romp your opponent. But this is LiquidZenio. He is not a pushover. So we shall see what he has up his sleeves. A lot of times the response usually has just been to take your 4th and even 5th base, and if you're feeling crazy, your 6th. This basically just helps you to be able to, as a Zerg, resupply after that huge engagement of the 3-base toss, and really make a counter push almost after the major death ball engagement happens, if you will. This 14 spawning pool coming out of LiquidZenio, fairly standard. More than likely going to just see some pretty standard play, as if I were Barcode, you would know that this is more than likely the real LiquidZenio, especially if you are in Grandmaster League. And you have to kind of respect someone of this skill level, so more than likely we're just going to see some fairly standard play. Looking for a Forge Fast Expand, probably even a Nexus before the Forge. And as for LiquidZenio, 14 pool, which we have already seen, along with a hatch at the natural, followed by a 3rd hatch around 422, 440, depending on kind of, what you want to do. Some players tend to drone up their natural a little bit more than this, or even grab 1 gas just to be safe against any sort of crazy like 4-gate pressure, so they can take their 3rd a little bit easier, as if you have this 1 gas, you can get out your link speed, which can be all the difference, especially when we're talking about a stalker push, where stalkers are just a tad bit faster than Zerglings, and because of this, they can pretty much infinitely kite Zerglings unless you get a really nice surround. We are going to see this hatch go down a little bit early. Does appear, yes, and this is something that I've been noticing out of the Teamliquid players. I just actually casted a best of 5 between FXO Baby Knight and TLO, who is obviously also on Teamliquid. And pretty much every game he decided to get his 3rd hatch very quickly. This cannon is going to fall, and we might see, yes, we are going to have a probe pull out of Barcode, and surprised that Zenio did not, just keep pressing up in here and try to... Oh, but now the Zealot's out, so pretty much shuts down any sort of early aggression that you can really get away with. Nice Overlord here, just to make sure that there's no probe shenanigans trying to come up and cannon rush. Excuse me there. We do see the Zealot trying to come out, but these Zerglings are just much too quick for it. Gonna poke up and just make sure that the wall off was complete, and Cybercore. So this is actually a full wall off, which indicates to me that he is definitely going to go for some 3-base play, unless he kills off this pylon, but it seems kind of detrimental to the progression of the Protoss. Do see just a ton of drones coming out, fairly standard. Another photon cannon coming down, just in case, I guess. LiquidZenio is known in part for his amazing 3-base all-in versus Protoss, where basically just after your first inject, I believe, on your 3rd hatchery pops, from this queen, who's slowly waddling her way over here. You're going to have speed pretty much done. You're going to get 2 gases right around the time that you throw down this hatch. And that's going to allow you to get out speed, throw down your baneling nest. As your speedlings are flooding over, speed will kick in. You morph a ton of banelings and literally just wreck this wall. Catch your Protoss opponent being greedy. As we can see, he literally has a zealot in only probes. And even with 2 cannons, it's just not enough, because then you can take out the forge, which is typically used for upgrades, as we can see +1 coming out, as well as a cyber core, which means that no more sentries can be built, no more stalkers can be built, your upgrades are halted. So even if you don't finish it right there, the Protoss has been set so far behind due to their greedy playstyle that it's going to be really, really, really hard to come back. Yes, you are setting yourself back as a Zerg player. In economy, you will sacrifice drones. You'll typically see 8 to 10 drones in total on all 3 mineral lines. You do want to make sure that they're spread out for optimal saturation, optimal income. We do see a Roach Warren on the way, as well as Lair. Evo Chamber is now up, as well as a Macro Hatch. 2 gas going down. Warp Gate is almost done for our Protoss player. 2 more gates coming down, and he does take this 3rd. So this 3rd Nexus is going to be spotted by this Overlord. I'm surprised that he didn't go for some sort of creep thread, but actually he cannot. Never mind, his layer is not actually done. And looking to see probably 2 more gateways and a cannon come down from Barcode. Pretty standard wall off, nothing too out of the ordinary. Robo Facility coming down. More than likely, at this point, if you haven't really built any Immortals at the 9-minute mark, we're probably just going to see a Robo Bay thrown down and him move straight into Colossi. But he might get out an Immortal or even an Observer just to make sure that he has vision or is safe against any sort of counter pressure from Roaches. We do see the 4th coming down. Not quite rallied just yet, but hey, it's LiquidZenio. I'm sure we'll get to it. Queen's coming out, Blink from the Twilight Council, as well as +1 ground armor. More than likely going to see +2 weapons. Yes, there it is. Observer coming out of the Robo Bay, just to make sure, as I said before, Infestation Pit coming down in this 2nd Evo chamber now, so he can actually get double upgrades. Just bouncing back and forth. Going to probably try and bait out some force fields from these sentries. Would like to see him possibly go up in here, as the cannon is just now going down, but tons of force fields available. You don't want to get this army trapped, especially this early. Lings are on the way, though. Pneumatized Carapace, as well as Galil Reconstitution and +1 range. We do see Pathogen Glands, so these Infestors can start popping out here. And yes, he is actually going to spot that the Observer was there. Cute little trick out of Zenio, just making sure that this is on patrol to make sure that no Observers get in here for very long. This Observer is going to spot for Barcode that drones are being transferred to the 4th, so he is aware that there's no sort of crazy pressure coming in. Very large base of Stalkers being pushed out here, as well as going up to 2 Immortals. Every time I see this little red dot, I think there's some Warp Prism action, and then I realize that there is actually no Warp Prism out on the map. Robo Bay coming down, so he is just going to have 2 Immortals and then go right into Colossi. Pretty standard stuff. Very, very, very passive game so far. Would like to see Zenio take his 7th and 8th gases, though. Gonna really start needing this, as Hive Tech should be coming out here in about another minute or 2. And once these Infestors start to hit the field, they are so gas intensive, it's actually quite crazy. As we can see, the Infestor is in fact 150 gas, and that means if you want to produce a lot of them, you need quite a bit of gas. Little engagement coming out here. Great force fields out of Barcode, trapping so much. A couple wasted force fields, but Blink will catch the rest of this army. And he does lose just about all of his roaches there. In fact, yes, he did lose all of them. That's never good. 89 drones, though. That is absolutely crazy, even on 4 bases. And now we do see a 4th base coming down. Ling's going to try and force the cancel here, but it does look like they are aware that that's more than likely not possible. Nice little aggressive Blink out of our Protoss player. Hive on the way. And I'm surprised that we actually... Oh, nope, never mind. Spire is on the way as well. Not sure exactly where that's building. There she is. Just tucked in there. And that means that once his hive pops, he can immediately move into Greater Spire. +3 ground weapons coming out, as well as +2 armor. Love double forge play out of Protoss. Gotta say, I think it's something that is quite underutilized. Yes, you have to sacrifice things like maybe slower Colossi, maybe one less Immortal, maybe a couple less Stalkers, but in all, when you have those upgrades, a couple less Stalkers versus Stalkers with another armor upgrade just makes them so much more durable, and actually kind of negates the fact that you have less army. 2-2 on the way. Actually, both attacks quite interesting, as he is kind of going for a Zergling Roach-centric build here. The Spinecrawler Forest has been erected on both sides, so it looks like he's going to be more than content on just sitting on 4 bases, which is surprising because he does know that Barcode is on 4 bases, so surprised that he didn't go with something like a wall here, try and take his 5th base, but it does look like he's going to be extending that, so he should be more than safe, especially with this creep spread coming out. Looks like we're going to see no Ling counterattack here. Both players, for the most part, just turtling up. Adrenal Glands, awesome upgrade. Do not forget this as a Zerg player. You will always need Zerglings in your composition, and Adrenal Glands just makes them absolutely nasty to deal with, especially on run-bys. Some Archons being morphed in here, more than likely going to see a Mama ship come out at some point. Charge being researched, as well as +1 shields. This is very important for these Archons. As you can tell, they are 350/10, which means that they are almost all shields. Pretty much no armor needed for them. Very small force still out of LiquidZenio, and now he's going to lose even more of these, and these Lings are going to be shut down so hard from these cannons as well as the Blink Stalkers, but he's just buying himself time for these Broodlords to finally finish up. As we can see, he's pretty much just turtling on Infestor Spinecrawler Wall, and actually just now getting out Corruptors and Broodlords, 5 in production. So not a terrible amount, but he will slowly reach that kind of critical mass, and we do see photon cannons coming down. This is quite interesting. It means that it's going to be much harder for Zenio to engage here, as well as give him detection without an observer there. But Warp Prism on the way, and yeah, Burrow as well. This is great for Infestors. Barcode is going to try and engage into the Spinecrawler wall, but great fungal coming down from LiquidZenio right there. Again, trapping and making sure that these Blink Stalkers cannot be utilized to their full effect. They cannot actually blink under these Broodlords, and with so much DPS from the Spinecrawler wall, as well as the added DPS of Fungal, we just see this army slowly crumbling, and now the Colossus have actually been fungled down. This is terrible for Barcode. As we can see, his supply is plummeting. +1 attack on the way for Zerg Flyer, as well as both +3 attacks for ground and ranged. Stargate on the way, which means he's more than likely going to be trying moving into the mothership, but we are going to have to see the fleet beacon come down for that to be available. Another Colossus being produced, as well as +3 ground armor. Small warp in here. No, not a small warp in fact. 10 Zealots coming in with charge, and an 11th on the way. They're going to be able to trade against these Zealots so quickly. Nice little move here from LiquidZenio, making sure that he can get this round, as well as the extra DPS from these 2 Spinecrawlers that are being used to actually guard this Greater Spire. But another couple Zealots being warped in, and they will slowly go cleaned up. It does look like he's going to try to fungal this Warp Prism and possibly use some Infested Terrans to take it out. Still very small army, as we can see. A lot of them damaged. These Immortals have taken some damage, as well as quite a few Stalkers in the red and orange, so that is never good. Looks like he's just going to be making sure that there's nothing going on here. Huge mineral bank, and as a Zerg player, this is pretty much when you need to take these 100 drones and just go Spinecrawlers. This 5th base has been, in fact, found out, and this 5th base has been up quite a while for LiquidZenio, as well as trying to take his 6th and 7th base behind this sort of mid-map aggression. Kind of interesting that Barcode did waste quite a bit of minerals on all of these cannons and pylons out here, as he did have warp prisms available, so didn't really need them. Little Overlord party happening down in here. +1 fire attacks is going to finish. Neural Parasite on the way, and we do see Mothership +2 shields, a Void Ray, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, there it is, as well as more Warp Prisms and 2 more Stargates coming down, so it does look like he's going to try to transition. Here, Zealots just coming in, suiciding themselves off, and almost got some Infestors there. Few more Zealots being moved in here, but they do meet a Spinecrawler wall as well as Infestors and Broodlords, and obviously Zealots will eventually die to both of these units through Fungals and Broodlings. Barcode not in a very advantageous position at the moment. Really needs to get out this Mothership. Not sure that he is chronoing it. Where are you being constructed? There you are. Yeah, he has tons of chrono. Should actually be chronoing some probe production to make sure that this base is saturated as well, but instead going to move into carriers. Very, very cool. We do not get to see carriers very often, and they I feel can still be utilized quite effectively by Protoss players. They just really haven't found a great way to go about it. This Warp Prism is going to see this counter aggression, but Zenio is then going to push up with his Infestors and Broodlords from the other side, so it looks like he's actually going to go for a complete surround. And Fungal does go down on the Warp Prism as well as Infested Terrans. We do see +1 Protoss air weapons being researched. Would love to see, what is that upgrade? Where are you, Fleet Beacon? Yes, research of Graviton Catapult. Basically just allows the interceptors from the carriers to be shot out just a little bit faster. Oh no, and are we going to see some feedbacks? No, in fact they are morphed into Archons. Mothership is out finally, and this Photon Cannon is just slowly going to pick away at this Infested Terran. Huge run by though from LiquidZenio, all up in the main and natural, and it does look like he's going to slowly just start picking apart some production facilities. His Forge almost dying off, and it does look like he's going to use this opportunity to put on some other counter pressure on the more important bases. He is not aware of these carriers, but now he does see the interceptors. These Infested Terrans do go down, and they should be able to slowly move up in here and start taking out these carriers, but in fact the carriers are going to be pulled away. +3 flyer attacks coming down for LiquidZenio, as well as +3 shields, so now the Protoss army is going to be completely maxed. As we can see, there are no more upgrades available. LiquidZenio is going to push up in here, take out these 2 Stargates, which are ever so important, and really the most important base as far as minerals left for our Barcode player. But we do see 3 carriers out on the field, as well as, I believe, just 1 Void Ray, yes? No, 3 Void Rays, in fact. Archons and the Mothership with Vortex. This could be a great engagement coming out. Huge Fungal going down, though. And we'll see how these carriers, along with the Archons, take this. Infestor starting to drop. Neural Parasite going down on one of the Archons, but that is just not going to be enough for Zenio just yet. Now we're going to see a Vortex capture quite a few Broodlords here, and would like to see these Stalkers blink up underneath of these. Yes, they are. The Archons do need to get into the Vortex. He is missing this opportunity. A couple Broodlords are going to get sniped off finally. But is he going to deal with these Broodlords? Yes, they are cleaned up quite effectively from these carriers and Archons, as well as the Mothership. So now LiquidZenio is really hurting. He's still maxed out, mostly on Corruptor Zergling, but and actually, does he have any Infestors left? Yes, quite a few. In fact, he does have 29 Infestors. Oh, good lord. The energy that can go around. The question is, where are all of the Infestors? They are actually up here, dropping down Infested Terrans. Oh, how did I miss this? Burrowed units everywhere. There's just too much action for one person's eye. And now some counter aggression coming in from Barcode. He is just going to push. He said, I have had enough of you pushing me around. Take a look at my Void Rays and carriers. Yes, this is not something you're used to seeing, so deal with it. Going to be pushing up into the Spinecrawler wall. These carriers are so effectively good at taking care of Spine Crawlers, as well as the range on these Colossus, these Archons, and Immortals. And LiquidZenio does need to make sure that he's controlling these Infestors. Almost loses quite a few, does lose one there in fact. And if he could get a Money Vortex off on those Infestors, this would be a game-changing mistake from Zenio. And the third base does go down, but as we can see, he does have quite a bit of mining still available. Does look like he's going to try and come in here and start sniping off some hatcheries, just to make sure that nothing can, that the production is limited from Zenio. And 2 hatcheries do go down. Tons of larvae still not being utilized. Does look like we're going to see Infestors dropping Infested Terran pretty much everywhere. And Barcode does feel that he has done the appropriate amount of damage necessary, and so he's just going to pull back. +1 air weapons finally finishing up. 3 more carriers on the way, and this carrier switch could be very detrimental to LiquidZenio. As we do see the Protoss is maxed out again, and up there goes LiquidZenio. Supply 26 Zerglings coming out. Infested Terrans do in fact pick off this Nexus and cancel any sort of production that might be coming out of that Stargate. So the Protoss player does need to establish another base. As we can see, his economy, he's pretty much been starved to death in this entire engagement. +1 air armor coming down, as well as 3 more carriers. Great fungal going down though. I'm just not sure that LiquidZenio is going to be able to hold. He's going to need to get these Corruptors and some great fungals to engage, but does not want to get Vortex, kind of a defensive Vortex coming out saying, hey, you can't even engage me here. And looking for him to just push up into these bases, try and start really diminishing the amount of mining available. Oh my god, amazing fungal coming out of LiquidZenio. Yes, he does lose that poor Infestor, but the damage was well worth it. And is he going to get a Vortex off? No, the Neural Parasite goes down, and oh my god, he Vortexes the entire army of the Protoss, and now just going to be spewing in tons of Infested Terrans. So the second that they come out, there's going to be so much DPS on this army, and this could be a quick GG out of Barcode. So much DPS coming down, and we are going to watch his supply plummet. In fact, it just dropped almost 50-60 now, and LiquidZenio trading so cost effectively. An amazing Neural Parasite out of LiquidZenio, such epic play, and now he has dropped 80 supply in total. LiquidZenio really having things swing in his favor, and I would not be surprised if the Barcode Protoss player just decides that that is it. And yes, we do see the GG come out. And yeah, that was quite an intense game from LiquidZenio. Again, this was brought to you by Sentinel Gaming's Seaweed. Please check me out at any of these links. Leave some comments. Let me know how you like the casts. If there's anything you're looking for, feel free to subscribe, like, tweet at me, whatever you want. But yeah, this game was from the Razer replay pack of LiquidZenio, which was released recently on Teamliquid. Another great site. Go check them out. And yeah, thank you for watching. More games will be coming daily to you. If I don't have time to cast, I make sure that I have a little bit of a bank built up, just so you guys can constantly have new content to look at. So yeah, let me know how you guys are feeling, and I will see you soon.